Multi side as Sadiq. Wherever you are in the world, you can watch us on DSTV channel 278. On social media, we're streaming at our verified GTV Ghana handles. Just look for us there. We'll do some trade stories. We'll take you to Parliament, which resumed sitting yesterday. We'll do some business, education and health, and we'll take you to the foreign front. Let's start off from our own Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, whose joint union has petitioned the Labour and Information Ministries to call the Chief Executive of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission to order and ask him to reverse the illegal directive to withdraw allowances of GBC staff. The union is also calling on the sector ministries to direct the Controller and Accountant General's Department to restore the allowances because the removal is a violation of natural justice as spelled out in the 1992 Constitution, an affront to disregard to the Labour Law Act 6519. In a statement, the union explains that the Controller and Accountant General's Department under the Public Financial Management Act 921 cannot act on a mere or unanimous letter without express permission from the Ministry of Finance. According to the statement, GBC management and the unions were not given a hearing before the implementation of the illegal directive. The statement adds that since the implementation of the payroll audit, the salaries of the workers of GBC have reduced drastically, making them worse off. The statement went on to say it will vehemently resist any attempt to impoverish the staff. Still on matters of GBC, the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation says the National Labour Commission, NLC, has summoned the Broadcasting Corporation, Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, that's FWSC, Ministry of Employment and Labour Relations, and relevant authorities to appear before it on Wednesday today at 1 p.m. for a hearing on a threat of strike by the staff of GBC. This is an exercise of its powers under Section 139 of the Labour Act 2003, Act 651. In a statement, the Commission said it has received the complaint filed by the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission notifying it of a threat of strike by the staff of GBC. According to the notice, the workers have threatened to embark on a series of industrial actions unless the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission restores the payment of allowances to some staff of GBC that it had withheld. A statement signed by the NLC said, with this intervention, the staff of GBC are advised to stay all or any intended action and appear as scheduled. The FWC began payroll auditing in April this year. The FWC audited the payroll of the staff of GBC over some allowances which it said some staff of GBC did not deserve. It therefore wrote to the Controller and Accountant General's Department to stop the payment of the allowances and allow the affected staff to refund the money. The GBC unionized staff cautioned against this directive, but the Controller and Accountant General's Department carried it through. Now, let's go to Parliament. The Minority Caucus on the Appointments Committee of Parliament has indicated that they will support by consensus the approval of the new Chief Justice nominee, Mrs. Gertrude Torkornoo. This follows their earlier disagreement with the role she played in the Supreme Court's recent judgment annulling the election of Mr. James Gyakye Quayson in their St. North constituency. During her vetting, the minority made it known that the approval of Justice Torkornoo will be contingent on the release of the written reasons the Supreme Court gave in the James Gyakye Quayson case. At a news conference in Accra yesterday, a member of the Appointments Committee, Mr. Mahama Yariga, said while they do not side with the reasons the Apex Court gave for disqualifying Mr. Quayson from holding himself as MP for St. North, they find merit in the appointment of Mrs. Gertrude Torkornoo as a new Chief Justice.
For post of Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, Her Ladyship Justice Gertrude Araba Esaba Torkornoo told the world that she is a textualist in her preferred approach to interpreting the Constitution of Ghana 1992. What was the text in dispute in the case of Michael Ankoma Nimfa versus James Gyakye Quayson and others? This is the famous James Quayson case. The text in dispute is Article 94, Clause 2A of the 1992 Constitution, and it reads, a person shall not be qualified to be a member of parliament. Disappointingly, a professed textualist like our CJ nominee abandoned the text and chose to read into the text of the Constitution a replacement text. The facts of the case, not disputed at any time, are that Kwesi, at the time of being sworn in to become a member of parliament, had successfully renounced all allegiances to any other country, and his allegiance was to only the Republic of Ghana.
Now, the Member of Parliament-elect for Kumewu, Mr. Ernest Yaw Nim, has been sworn into office by the Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Alban Bakpen. The short ceremony took place when the House resumed sitting yesterday, June 6, 2023. This is the second meeting of the third session of the 8th Parliament of the Fourth Republic.
Went on recess for the Easter holidays on March 31 after some busy proceedings which lingered into the wee hours of the next day, 1st April. During that last meeting, the House received a news, the death of the then MP for Kumewu, Mr. Philip Baswa. The seat was declared vacant and Mr. Ernest Yaw Nim was later elected in a by-election. The new MP took his oath of office today, Tuesday, when Parliament reconvened for the second meeting.
Discharge the duties of a Member of Parliament.
Discharge the duties of a Member of Parliament.
So help me God.
So help me God.
These are the tools you take to your farm.
The Speaker and other leading members of the House then gave their welcome address.
The recess has been long and very eventful. I believe it offered you enough time and space to interact with your constituents. Let me, on behalf of Parliament, congratulate the members who were able to make through the constituency primaries.
We must double our effort in rescuing our country from the clutches of incompetence and mismanagement. Mr. Speaker, again, to my colleagues who unfortunately lost their bid for re-election, I wish to encourage you not to despair, but to see it as a beginning of another chapter in your political career.
There are some of them that visibly we can attest to the fact that they are very experienced and mature people who add value to the deliberations of the House. That we have lost them is regrettable. And I have always insisted that the political parties, including in particular MPP and NDC, should have serious introspection over their constitutions.
During this meeting, the Ministry of Finance is also expected to present about 5 bills to the House for consideration. Sitting has been adjourned to Wednesday, June 7, 2023 at 10 o'clock in the forenoon. Rachel Quarty, GBC News, Parliament.
Now, the Government Assurance Committee of Parliament on Monday visited some selected basic schools in Tema, Kpone, Katamanso, Ningo Prampram and Ada as part of its fact-finding mission to assess conditions at the school. The team discovered that most of the schools lack teaching materials, including textbooks and infrastructure.
This visit was to ascertain whether public basic schools in the country have received the required textbooks for the new curriculum. Members had earlier visited some schools in the central region as part of their fact-finding mission. At the Tema metropolis, they first visited the Mahia Anglican cluster of schools with a population of over 2,000. The schools have not received the required number of textbooks for effective teaching. The school's authorities also complained of lack of furniture. The MP for Tema East, Mr. Isaac Ashayo Dampton, appealed to the government for support.
It needs to be spacious, but for now, what you have, make good use of it. I know it's difficult once you are sitting so close, but learn together, share ideas together, and do independent work.
The Michelle Camp Garrison Primary School within the Kpone Katamanso constituency was the team's next port of call.
Creative arts 50 and then mathematics 45.
The dilapidated structures at the Omankope DA school at Ningo Prampram caught the attention of the MPs. The municipal director lamented the lack of resources to enable the assembly reconstruct the school. Also on the list was the Tufluko Primary School in the Adan West District. Authorities of the school said the textbooks received so far are inadequate. The Government Assurance Committee of Parliament will also visit selected basic schools in other regions. Rachel Quarty, GBC News, Adan.
Away from education, let's look at environmental sustainability. Distribution of seedlings for the 2023 Green Ghana Day has taken off in Accra, with the rest of the 15 regions taking an early lead on Friday. The Forestry Commission has managed to raise about 5 million seedlings, with a 3 million seedling support from the Minerals Commission, 900,000 from the Forest Plantation Fund Board, and the rest from various donors. All these make up the 10 million seedlings earmarked for this year's planting exercise. The Commission is urging parents to allow their wards or children to fully participate in the national exercise to awaken the civic responsibility in them. Clara Mlano reports.
The role trees and forests play in the lives of man and the earth is huge. Yet, consciously and unconsciously, mankind is destroying everything that is critical to its own survival. This year's exercise will be the third in a row since the Green Ghana Day idea was mooted. Running on the theme, Our Forests, Our Health, the 2023 planting is linked to the importance of forests on the health of mankind. The Achimota Nursery of the Forestry Commission is home to various tree species including citrus, avocado and teak.
I can see Militia toningai, which the Ghanaians call tacho. It's indigenous to the Accra Plains. We have cassia, teak, we have mahogany, fruit trees like avocado, citrus in terms of orange, tangerine and lemon. Quite a wide range of species.
Several individuals and groups including the Ghana Armed Forces came to stock up or pick seedlings for Friday's tree planting. The Executive Director of the Forest Services Division of the Forestry Commission, Mr. Hugh Brown, spoke of measures being taken to fight climate change.
We have the modified tonger system where we establish close to about 10 to 12 million seedlings plant these every year. We do this with communities and farmers. We have the Trees on Farm scheme where we give trees to farmers to incorporate within their farming systems. We also have what we call enrichment planting, where forest reserves that are degraded but not completely converted to other forms, we cut strips and then plant indigenous species, mixed indigenous species to help build the carbon density and also forest cover in these landscapes. Ghana still can be described as a carbon sink, but we need to do more.
At the headquarters were coconuts and oil palm seedlings, which will also be planted at various locations. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has commended donor partners of the 2021 and 2022 exercises and honored them with plaques.
Now, the Amasaman Forest Services Division of the Forestry Commission is urging Ghanaians to visit the division for their seedlings ahead of the Green Ghana Day slated for Friday, June 9. The district manager, Mr. George Osei, said their nursery has more than 400,000 seedlings of various species ready for planting.
Forest Services Division of the Forestry Commission has nursed and prepared 400,000 seedlings ready for planting. The seedlings are made up of species like Gimelina, Cedrela, Mahogany, Cashew, Prekese, among others. The third edition of the Green Ghana is slated for Friday, June 9, and the Amasaman District Manager says it is a call to national duty and Ghanaians must demonstrate patriotism by actively participating in this all-important national exercise.
It is my view that the government should actually bring out a policy, to formulate a policy, so that at the age of 18 years, it becomes a policy that when you reach the age of 18, you plant trees. Or maybe the service personnel, when you do the service personnel, before they give you your certificate, the government should make it as a matter of policy for you to plant trees. And that would make Ghana a very good place to live in.
Mr. Osei encouraged the public to come to their offices and pick their desired seedlings for planting. He said Amasaman planted over 1 million seedlings during the Green Ghana Day last year to help restore the country's degraded landscape and mitigate the impact of climate change. He said the district recorded an 80% survival rate.
And in the Bono region, the Forestry Commission is targeting to plant 600,000 trees in the third edition of the Green Ghana Day, slated for Friday, June 9. This time, just like last year, most of the planting will take place within degraded forest reserves in the region. And given the details, the Commission's Bono Regional Director, Mr. Augustine Jedu, encouraged corporate bodies and other entities to adopt degraded portions and help restore them to boost the region's standing as firm supporters of environmental regeneration.
In the past, the Bono region was heavily forested, but years of illegal logging, illegal farming in forest reserves, and bushfires, amongst other negative human activities, have reduced the forest cover drastically. The Green Ghana initiative was therefore hailed as it has given the Commission's reforestation efforts a much-needed boost. This year, the Forestry Commission in the Bono region, which has two forest districts, Sunyani and Doma, is on course to plant 60% of the targeted 600,000 seedlings in the degraded portions of its 7 forest reserves. Briefing GVC News during a visit to the Commission, the Regional Director, Mr. Augustine Jedu, showed the team around a nursery at the Commission, saying over 100,000 seedlings made up of species like Gemelina, Cedrela, Mahogany, Cashew and Emery have been raised to plant there and at other nurseries and already distributed. He was optimistic that with the Green Ghana effort complementing their normal reforestation activities, Bono region will soon regain its lost forest cover.
This came about to complement what we were doing already, and if we are able to continue successfully for the next 10 years, I can assure you that most of our degraded forests will be recovered.
On the trees planted in forest reserves in the first 2 editions of Green Ghana Day, Mr. Jedu was satisfied with the over 70% survival rate and called for more support to plant the trees. Mr. Jedu further mooted the idea of corporate bodies and other entities adopting portions of degraded forest reserves and helping to resuscitate them.
Government
And on security, the Ghana Boundary Commission was established by Act 795 of Parliament in 2010 as part of interventions to address the increasingly complex nature of Ghana's international boundary. The mandate of the Commission is to demarcate, delimit and manage land, air and maritime boundaries of Ghana in accordance with accepted principles of international law. At a media briefing in Accra, the National Coordinator of the Ghana Boundaries Commission, Major General Emmanuel Kotia, explained that the various boundaries in relation to Ghana, as well as the role of securing international boundaries.
International land boundary statistics are as follows. We share a land boundary with Togo, both land and maritime, but I will start with the land boundary. And approximately the length of our land boundary with Togo is about 906 kilometers. We also share a land boundary with Burkina Faso to the northern part of Ghana, 590 kilometers. And with Cote d'Ivoire, our land boundary is approximately 730. In between, we have rivers and streams which occupies some of them are dry, some also are flowing, especially during the rainy season. On Ghana's international maritime boundary, currently we have a maritime boundary with Togo, Benin and Nigeria which covers 200 nautical miles. I must say that this issue, I'll come back to the issue of the Ghana-Togo maritime boundary especially, where currently negotiations are ongoing on it. We have a maritime boundary with Cote d'Ivoire, 200 nautical miles, and the length of Ghana's
eastern to west maritime domain is about 780 kilometers at the extent of the exclusive economic zone. The Commission's mandate has a wider implication for safeguarding the territory of the state at all times in collaboration with various actors within and outside Ghana. And just briefly, let me mention to you that one of the key characteristics of a state is that a state must have a defined territory. You can only have a defined territory when you have defined boundaries. That is how important the Ghana Boundary Commission is, because the responsibility of defining our boundaries, both land and maritime boundaries, and to some extent air boundaries, is the responsibility or is the mandate that we are supposed to undertake.
And on business, as Ghana focuses on building a more sustainable economy, it has become important for the country to continually attract investments from Belgium, the Netherlands and Luxembourg, says Ghana's Foreign Minister, Madame Shirley Ayorkor-Botchwey, in Accra.
Belgium, the Netherlands and Luxembourg make up the Benelux group, and the volume of trade between them and Ghana documented a little over $1 billion as of 2021, whilst in Accra, the three envoys of the Benelux countries at a meeting with Ghana's Foreign Minister, Madame Shirley Ayorkor-Botchwey, centered their discussions on bolstering economic trade, investment and multilateral cooperation.
Partnership is ever more important in the world we live in, because not only do we have such strong bilateral ties, but we also share a common view on the world. A world that has a long list of issues in all sorts of theaters, but partners like the Benelux countries and Ghana, and luckily many others at the world stage, continue to be champions of multilateralism, continue to stand by the UN Charter, continue to be advocates for the international rules-based order.
Ghana's top diplomat lauded the shared efforts to expand the spheres of cooperation at both the bilateral and multilateral fronts. She, however, encouraged investors from the Benelux countries to take advantage of the opportunities provided by the $1.3 billion market offered by the creation of AFCFTA.
We had discussions on migration and what needs to be done to ensure that we work as two sides on curbing illegal migration. Our discussions also focused on trade, and we acknowledge the large numbers of companies from the three countries doing business in Ghana and welcomed their contributions to strengthening the private sector in Ghana in job creation and to Ghana's socio-economic development in general. We asked for more foreign direct investment from the Benelux Union.
On regional security, Accra acknowledged the contributions by the Benelux countries to peace and security in the Sahel and the West Africa sub-region.
Still on business and trade, adding value to salt produced at the Songo Lagoon in Ada has the potential to increase Ghana's foreign exchange earnings and transform the local economy. This, however, is being undermined by illegal salt miners. The Mankralo of Ada Traditional Council, Nene Agude Obichiri, mentioned this when the Traditional Council conferred with President Akufo-Addo at the Jubilee House in Accra about operations of Electrochem Ghana and its impact on the lives of people in the catchment area.
It is 3 years now since Electrochem Ghana was established at Sege in Ada to mine salt. Jobs, water, astroturf and interest-free loans are some of the benefits the people have enjoyed from the wholly owned Ghanaian company. The company aims to make Ada a world-class salt mining hub. At the Jubilee House in Accra, the Mankralo of Ada Traditional Area, Nene Agude Obichiri, said though it is at its infant stages, Electrochem has made significant impact on the lives of the people. He, however, appealed to the president to beef up security in the area to ward off illegal salt miners from the community.
We also wish to take this opportunity to request you, Your Excellency, to help us have the state security agencies act swiftly to curb and bring to order those in the area who have taken the law in their own hands and have total disregard to the law.
President Akufo-Addo said assurances given by the Traditional Council to support the company to scale up salt production and rake in more foreign exchange to the national kitty is encouraging.
It has the potential to make a major contribution to the economic development of our country. We're told that next door to us in Nigeria, there is a demand for 1 million tons of salt every year, which is satisfied by Brazilian exporters, whereas a day's sailing from Apapa are the deposits in Adan. So if we now have investors in the area that are serious about bringing this wealth out, it is the responsibility of all of us, especially with you in the vanguard, to give maximum support to this development.
Also at the Jubilee House was a delegation from the National Executive of New Patriotic Party, NPP, to express gratitude to the President for his support during the by-election at Kumawu in the Ashanti region.
Na Ashanti MPP, Kumawu MPP, ya di aseda soronko, ene ye hene Kumawu ma hene, ene ne mpanimfo, National Chairman and General Secretary. Yentimi mfa waseda ene waban aseda endi. Onyankopon on aseda ene tumi nyina ni mpuntu nyina ye ne dia.
Mr. Nim, you have a big responsibility. Kumawu is a very important constituency, one of the leading constituencies in Ashanti. So now you are their mouthpiece, their representative. You have to deliver.
The election was won by Mr. Ernest Enim. The former MP of the constituency died a couple of months ago.
And let's take you to the foreign front. Nigeria's main trade union movement has suspended its call for a nationwide strike on Wednesday to protest against a sharp increase in the price